Welcome to Midnight Motivation, a real and raw podcast about motivation, entrepreneurship, and achieving success. I'm your host, Tony Pec. Welcome to all the new listeners. Appreciate you all, and welcome back to all the bosses, part of the Midnight Motivation mob. Today's episode is Michael Nast Part 2. If you have not listened to Michael Nast Part 1, please go check it out. It tells you all the details of his story, who he is, how he became who he is. He is an absolute social media titan. He has many clients such as Grant Cardone and numerous A-list celebrities with over 100 Grammys, 50 Emmys, 35 Oscars. The list goes on and on. But enough about that. This episode is Michael Nast sharing a bunch of secrets and tips on how to grow your social media presence, a lot of practical advice that he gives. So listen on in and let's just jump right on into it right now, guys. Enjoy.
Don't ever give up on your dreams. I was a victim of the education system. When I was in high school, I was like, man, if I get a job for $25 an hour, I'm set. That was the goalposts that were instilled in us when we were kids. I didn't realize till I was in my 40s that, dude, you need to own your own business and where you can have unlimited income, where you can make $1,000 a second if you're doing it right. And then have that freedom, and it's not about getting a good job working for someone and retiring when you're 50. It's figuring out something by your 30s that you control your, freedom is the ultimate currency. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, oh, I need $1 billion. Well, I know I got a couple billionaire clients and them some bitches got to be into work every day or their shit's gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
Their business can't run without them. So they still have that. I feel I'm better off than them. No, I don't have the fucking jet and all that shit. But you know what? I don't have to, 95% of the time, I don't have to be somewhere in the morning. But next week I've got to fly out to Miami and shoot some content for a client out there. But the majority of my time, I control, everything. Where what I want to do, if I want to take a nap, if I want to go do this or that. And it's the most liberating feeling in the world. And
now you left, you were 42, your bald self, you left your car job. How much were you making at the car job? I think it was like 300 grand, we said, right?
Yeah, 300 grand.
So you left that at the age of 42. Did you have a family at this time?
Well, my son was about 16, but here's what had happened. From 2003 to 10, I still worked in that business.
Okay.
Now, if I was in between jobs where I left one dealership or whatever, I would basically take enough, I would stay out of going back to my real job till I absolutely had to, till I either kind of busted on poker one night or, I just needed to go back to work.
Okay.
The most I had monetized my business in the first 6 years, I think was $36 a month. And then in 2000, I got up to $1,000 a month in 2010. And then finally in 2011, it got up to a level that was comparable to the 300 grand I was making at, working in the car business. And then I was able to walk away at that point.
See, you know what's crazy, man? You're making $300,000 a year, which is a lot of money for most people in the U.S. And I get it, you didn't have the freedom and stuff, but you were also 42 years old. And I love it because entrepreneurism, there's no discrimination in age. You could be any age and you could go do whatever the fuck you want to do and be successful at it. But what would you tell people that would be afraid to leave where they are now if they're making decent money? Like, you were making good money. Like, that's a scary jump to make and, try something new. And you were an older guy, too. And plus, you're talking about all this tech shit. People that are around your age, they don't really know that much technology. Now it's a different story. But, a few years ago, a different ballgame,
Well, I can tell you this about tech. I don't know how to write code. I don't know any. I didn't even know how to email to 99. And that still was difficult for me. So I'm not like a tech guy, but I do like gadgets. When the live streaming caught my eye on that, I did kind of learn that. But here's advice to anybody. There's a gentleman that works with Brad Lee. One of Brad Lee's clients. His name's Jerry Acuff. His story is tremendous. That guy is probably worth $500 million right now, but at 50 years old, he was working for someone, doing consulting, had a boss, and he just got fired. And he was maybe making $100,000 a year. So basically, he started at 50, became an entrepreneur, and now is worth $500 million. and is one of the top business consultants in the world. But my last name's Nast, so everybody calls me Nasty. So the Nasty formula for entrepreneurship is that don't quit your job. But here's what you need to do. What are you passionate about? What are your passions? Well, mine, I loved being online. I loved socializing on social. I loved MySpace when it came out. Then when Facebook came out, I loved interacting online. I loved being on Facebook. A lot of people do love being on Facebook. So whatever you love doing, now you've got to figure out, how can I monetize my passion? Well, I can become an expert at it and teach people how to become very good at whatever. So whatever it is, what are you passionate about?
Me? Oh, I love cigars and I love making money. Those are my two passions.
Right. And so you probably are trying to monetize both, aren't you?
Absolutely. One day I will have my own cigar line.
Yeah, if you can monetize something you're passionate about, I mean, you see it all the time, like with fitness instructors, ski instructors, these people they love fitness and they just said, fuck it, man, I'm going to get paid to lift weights and teach people how to get the results I get. So that's all it is fine. If you're passionate about kids, then, figure out something in that area, but just do it as a hobby part-time. And then start seeing how you can build revenue. And then if you realize, hey, if I can put more time in it and figure out how much revenue you're going to make, if you can put more time into it, then you can. And that's the beauty too of today. You can really start any business through social media and a website. Consulting is one of the most lucrative careers there is, because you can decide what you want to charge each individual client. You may have, with my business, and I really shouldn't put this out here, but if you got a client that's a billionaire, if you try to charge him what you charge somebody makes $100,000 a year, he's not going to buy your product because it's too cheap. Then if you're not going to ask $20,000 for this product, he's not even going to be interested. If you say, oh, well, it's $1,500, what?
Can't be that good, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to. That's one of the beauties of consulting is, become an expert at what you're passionate at, whatever it is, fishing, skiing, bowling. Don't have to, whatever it is, become an expert at it.
But how could these people get in front of those big clients if they're just starting out like that too?
Well, kind of like I did. At first, you're going to have to kind of work for free. If you're like doing, hey, I can guarantee these results. Well, what's the first thing people want to see? Well, who have you done it for besides yourself? And so if you're like, the industry I wanted, where I, started getting into social media consulting and growing people and getting them attention and getting where they needed through social, you got to have that portfolio. And that's the beauty of my business. I laugh. The only paid advertising I've ever done in my life was those 3,000 Facebook likes. I don't even use Facebook ads. People are like, are you crazy? You're a social media and you don't use Facebook ads? I'm not saying you shouldn't. And if you have success with them, do that. But no, I don't. My business has been 100% generated through social media, and pretty much the same way you found me for your podcast. You didn't find me through an ad. I have no idea how you found me. You probably found me through a post or a comment I made on something. But that's what I teach my clients. I go, no, I'm not going to be able to tell you about Facebook pixels and retargeting or any of that shit. I'm going to be able to tell you how you can build 100% social media online where all your business comes to you to say, I saw what you did for this guy, or this guy sent me to you, or people are sending people to you. And so that's kind of what, and then, one, get big numbers and how to utilize them.
That's a good point. How to leverage them. That's true.
To monetize them. Yeah.
Yep. You have any tips for people to grow their brand or their business on social media? If they just starting out with like nothing, I know we talked about it last time, like simple things not to do pretty much, or simple things people should do that they don't.
Okay. Well, the number one rule is when you're not known on and you're trying to grow, then basically identify who you want to get the attention of. And it's the 85-15 rule. Social media, growing through online social media in the beginning is 85% what you are engaging versus what you post. So basically when you get on your computer or phone and start saying, hey, I'm going to do what I can to get my word out here. Well, the way you get your word out and whatever and try to get attention is you go to Anthony's post, you like, comment, share, follow. And so now what you're doing is the most powerful form of SMS marketing now. Because each time you take one of those actions, it's a ping in that person's phone. And it's not a spam email. It's not a marketing email. It's not a spam text. I love all these people. Oh, we got a text program. We can send these people text. I'm like, bro, all you got to do is like, comment, or share, and you're getting your content in front of them, and you're not pissing them off. You're actually telling them they're cool, because you know how happy we are when somebody likes our shit.
Yep.
And so now you're cool. Now you've branded yourself as, I care, I love your shit. So guess what? They're going to love your shit. And they're going to find out more about you, because it's like, man, this dude likes me. And so, yeah. Now, naturally, you have to have your profile and your posts in line to when you do that outward engagement and they click on it and say, who's this dude that's blowing me up with all this cool, saying I'm so cool and they like my post. Yeah, naturally, you've got to have it all set up there. You got your website set up properly. And then when they go down your personal, and that's another thing I say, Facebook pages are essential. Mm-hmm. But if you're developing a personal brand or business, you're the face behind. Your personal profile is where you're going to make it happen, not your page, because as we all know, most pages, even like Grant's or anybody else's now, with 6 million followers, we realize he's probably not going to see anything I post.
No.
Or even Gary Vee, he might see a couple, but still. It's not the same. If Gary Vee's personal Facebook profile reached out to you, you'd flip, wouldn't you? You'd like, fuck, this is the dude.
This is fucking him. That's it.
Exactly. And people say, well, I can only have 5,000 friends. No, yeah, that's true. But you can have as many people follow you as you want. People can follow that just like a Facebook page. And your reach is better out of a personal, organic, because they don't do like Facebook pages now where they don't show. It doesn't matter if you have 100 or 1 million people liking your page. If you don't boost it, it's going out to 0.5% max. Mm-hmm. And anybody who owns a page cannot argue this point. Go to your page right now, and where it says people reached, I promise you, if you didn't boost it, you'll be lucky to be 0.5% of the number of people liked your page. So that's all it's saying is, yeah, out of every 100 people like your page, we'll put it out to maybe one person in their newsfeed. Because
that's crazy. It's
we call it pay to play. I remember all the days talking about algorithm. You got to do this, that. Well, that shit don't exist.
Now they just blocked it out so you pay.
Yeah. Now the algorithm exists on personal, and that's why it's also a big advantage. I know you noticed when lives first came out on Facebook, guess what? It didn't matter what friend it was.
Everyone did a live.
Everybody's live pops in your thing. And now it pops up in the top on the stories. Mm-hmm. So there's a powerful thing by using lives out of a personal profile. You're getting in the top of everybody's newsfeed. And then the same thing with content. If it gets engaged properly, that's where the edge rank comes into play. And then it's that personal deal, because people know, hey, I'm talking to you, the owner, the real dude. This isn't a page that's run by some 20-year intern or some marketing firm that's in New York and you're in somewhere else. And it allows that, when you're going out and engaging people, they know exactly who's talking. And I mean, the beauty of social media, it just shrinks the world. One of the things we didn't talk about this time was, my involvement with Google Plus. And when that first came out, I was invited as a beta tester because of what I've been doing on social media. And there was the first big social network with a video hangout feature. And I was like, this is just awesome. We're going to be doing all this stuff by video now. And we ended up doing a video hangout for 72 days, a Google Hangout nonstop for 72 days.
World record.
And, well, we didn't get a world record because we didn't set it up right with Guinness. The world record, believe it or not, is like just 2 days now.
That's
and it was done by somebody who participated in ours. Then went out and said, "Oh, well, I want to get to it," and they just did one for 2. We did one for 72 days, and it was crazy because Google at first was like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" They didn't understand why we would do a never quit. And back then, Hangouts were open, and what that meant is anybody could come in. Anybody, you couldn't stop them either. So, and they were like publicly listed. There was no privacy and there was no moderation. So it was crazy. So people like did them back then to see what, who was going to come in and troll us or whatever next. But
72 days. That's crazy.
But it was crazy because I'm sitting there talking to the head of, the lead head guy of Google Hangouts at the time. And I'm like, dude, I got a ton of celebrity clients love to do these, but they're never going to do one of these if we can't moderate it. Because if anybody can come in here and just start, they were screencasting porn and just being annoying because you couldn't shut them up or nothing. So that came around.
Isn't that coming from that? That's how you got in touch with Michael Dell? Yeah.
Well, what we did was we live streamed our Hangout, basically screencast it, put it on a microsite called Hangout on gplus.com. I believe that site's still up. Actually, there's no Hangout there anymore. But and then you could go to Hangout and watch the Hangout if you weren't in it, because there was only 10 people at a time allowed in it. And there was a chat room attached to it, so people could chat too. And then if a spot came open, there was a button to join. So if you had a beta Google, account, Google Plus account, then you could join the Hangout. And that's how Michael Dell had a beta Google, and he popped in on a Sunday afternoon. I recorded every second of it, basically an hour and a half. Michael Dell Sunday. I'm sitting at my pool on my laptop with the webcam. My son's there. My son gets to meet him, and it's like hanging out with your friend on a porch on a Sunday evening. I mean, that's the atmosphere. It's not business. It's not like in the boardroom.
Yep.
And not only discussing, with Michael, the whole reason he was like there and checking all that out and seeing what we were doing is like, he's like, the future I see for my web, for Dell.com, is when you come on there, there's a person and how can I help you? Well, I want to buy a new computer. And you talk, it's like having a salesperson at a store. Mm-hmm. Or I got a problem on computer. I need a warranty. I got a warranty. Okay, well, and so there's no, instead of just like live chat like they have now, you can actually have a person. You don't have to type anything. It's like, okay, what's your amount? Total customer service with a real person, which probably will be the future. But that's, we sat in there and discussed that. We talked about the Longhorns and Texas because, we were both down here in Texas and just shooting the shit. And then he was talking about new products came out and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean, we had Michael Dell come in there, Sergey Brin, Reuters and Huffington Post interviewed us in the Hangout. And then after a while, the Google engineers would hang out with us every night. And they're like, why are you guys live streaming this? And we go, because we're getting attention. And the site we built had all clicks like for our websites and our profiles and how people could follow us. And then I said, you guys need to let us do this on YouTube Live. And they were like, oh, we only give YouTube Live to 30 people. And I'm like, y'all need to open it up to the public. And they're like, oh, no, that will never happen. And it was, I think about 2 weeks later, I got an email from them. And it's like, we would like to discuss help hire you as a consultant to help us formulate YouTube Live so anybody can go live on YouTube. So I was involved with YouTube and Google, helping them come up with the policies, procedures, and ways, everything they needed in place so the public could broadcast. They wouldn't get in trouble for copyright infringement and be able to do everything right. So that was pretty epic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All from a 42-year-old bald guy that used to be a car salesman.
All I knew how to do was email.
That's crazy.
And when I started, I started playing poker. So I'm thinking I'm going to be like one of these guys you see on the World Poker Tour, the Grinder and all them. I'm just a guy that, I'd be there right on the bubble of getting a big money cash. I'd have aces, other guy'd have whatever, kings, queens, or something stupid. And I play, we're all in before any in at the flop. And I would always get sucked out. I'm cursed. I'm not supposed to make it here.
Poker wasn't your thing.
Well, no, it was. I mean, the reason why I got so much following in my blog and all that was I was in the top. Back then, you had a screen name, and mine was McAdoo. And you can actually Google McAdoo now, and you'll see all kinds of stuff from my poker days there. But that you could go and look on these sites, and they kept track of wins, losses, and all that stuff. And I was in the top 10% in the world from 2004 to 2006 in online tournament wins.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
In money wins. And but yeah, that's crazy. When I started out on that journey, 2003, 2004, and you said, oh yeah, you're going to be live broadcasting, and you're going to be mentoring some of the top celebrities, companies, brands in the world on social media. And you're going to make some unknowns, some of the biggest names in social media. And then you're going to host a TV show with Drew Pearson, who was one of your favorite players when you were a kid. I would have just said, dude, fucking go smoke another one. There ain't no way that's going to happen. So yeah, it's just a testament is when you start on your journey of being an entrepreneur, be just anything that can be a pipeline of income, and it's something that is easy to do. I always tell people a good place to start out is affiliate marketing. If you like Dior clothes, if you like a certain product, well, guess what? 99% of companies, if you go down to their website, it'll say either partners or affiliates. And what that means is if you want to sell their stuff online, you can. They'll give you a link, your own link, to where Amazon, everybody, you can sell any product, most any book on Amazon and get a commission on it. That's how
anything on Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, that's how Tai Lopez started. He was an affiliate guy. That's what he did. He sold everybody else's shit.
Yep.
And so, like when people ask me, well, what do you do? Well, it's really, sometimes it's hard for me to explain because I have a social media marketing wise. There's over 100 different things I do. I don't, and then like I started getting the rap of, oh, you're just a guy who gets a lot of likes. Well, I didn't like that because no, I'm a guy who helps my clients produce content. That's what I pride myself on. Whatever it takes, the Cardone Zone Live and all that kind of stuff. The Bottom Line with Brad Lee, that was all stuff that I helped put together. That came up, Brad, you got to do a YouTube rant every whenever you feel like it, but preferably every other day. And that was the bottom line.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
now, you've been at this for over 10 years. So would you say consistency is like pivot? I know we were talking about last time, but with the whole adapting, I think that's a good word that you used. Have people need to learn.
Yeah, you got to be able to pivot. You got to be able to shift because just like in social media, the Sears, all these companies that were huge 20 years ago and are gone now. It's because they didn't change. They didn't pivot. That's Amazon put them out of business because Sears never thought, oh, we need to get, be able to sell online. Walmart's figured it out. Walmart's, I think, doing more business online than they do at their stores now. But you've got to just be able to adapt. And yeah, where you start, you might start out, trying to start your own liquors, your own vodka, your own cigars, or whatever you were dreaming about. But the best thing you can do on social media is use how it shrinks the world to you. It gives you access to people who you could never have access to any other way.
Yep.
Because people, I mean, you see it all the time with the Kardashians and Taylor Swift, and there's plenty of CEOs. My example of Grant, just by commenting on her stuff, And if you can solve a problem for them, they just might contact you and say, how can you solve this problem for me? Mm-hmm. So that's another key. Do something you're passionate about, but your passion is going to have to solve problems for people that they will pay you for. So that's the key to being a successful entrepreneur. Figure out a problem you can solve that not many people can solve. And then that's the key. The problem I figured out really by complete accident, but it was, hey, people need to get branded properly with numbers and engagement and content on social media. I can solve that problem for anybody. Luckily that's a good thing to be in at this time on this planet.
Yep.
I think I have job security for a while, and it's given me the flexibility because I'm at a point to where I actually turn down clients because I don't want that much more work. I like my freedom. I could go for the Gary V level and all that. I've had plenty of chances for that. People say, man, if you just start public speaking, you could be as huge as those guys. And I'm like, I don't have a passion for it. I'm happy with one thing that 25 years in I called it a box, the dealership, because you're like in a little cubicle most of the time, taught me was, the value of just being able to breathe and just have that freedom and that where you don't have that stress. I love Gary Vee, but I think, he thrives, and the same thing with Grant. They thrive on that stress of having, over 100 employees and having to deal with all the accounting and taxes. To me, that's a nightmare. I like my little solopreneur. All my employees are contract labor. So I don't have to, it's just simple. Everything's just simple and smooth.
But that's awesome. Yeah. So it's really what people prefer, honestly, but
yeah,
either way, both successful. So it's a matter of what you define success as. Like you said, you wanted the freedom. So,
yep.
But, well, Mike, we went on for a very long time, but it's great. I think it was a great talk.
Yeah, I'm sure you got enough to edit and in and out there.
Yep. So wanted to say thank you. And guys, part of Midnight Motivation. Midnight Motivation is more than a podcast, it's more of a movement. And we call the people part of the Midnight Motivation, part of the mob. And mob stands for Made of Bosses. And a boss is built on self-sacrifice, which you obviously exemplify being a solopreneur. So welcome to the Midnight Motivation mob. And we'd love to have you back one time, man. This is great. I know we have a lot more that we could talk about too. But where can they find you? Where can people find you, man? Where can they find you? Instagram, Facebook, what? I'm
the Michael Nast on Instagram and Twitter. Unfortunately, there's another Michael Nast in Germany who is a famous author there that grabbed. I was card player forever, and that's why I didn't get my own name, because I was card back when you got on the internet in the early 2000s. You didn't put your name out there because you were worried about people finding out who you were. But the Michael Nast, michaelnastmedia.com is my website, and you just look for the bald-headed Michael Nast with a blue check mark on Facebook, and we can connect there too. So, or LinkedIn, the same.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mike. I know everyone listening in going to get great value from this podcast episode. I think it was fantastic. And I will be talking to you guys next time on the next episode.